Let me tell you something. Every once in a while, a blind audition happens on The Voice that genuinely splits the room. Not just the coaches' chairs, the entire internet. And when Jaali Boyd walked onto that stage and opened her mouth, something interesting happened. Most people lost their minds. And one coach just sat there. That right there is the tension we are unpacking today. So who is Jaali Boyd? She is an R&B singer who showed up to the Voice Blind auditions and made a very bold, very specific choice. Instead of playing it safe with a pop anthem or a ballad that every other contestant uses to get a chair turn, she went straight for No Air, the classic Jordin Sparks and Chris Brown duet. And here is where it gets interesting. That is not a solo song. It was written and recorded as a back and forth between two distinct voices. Singing it alone means you have to carry both parts, both registers, both emotional arcs. On a stage where you are being judged cold, in real time, with coaches who have heard everything. The pressure alone should have broken somebody. It did not break Jaali. Before we get deep into the reaction, if you are new here and you love watching the Voice Blind auditions broken down with real commentary and no fluff, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We cover public reaction to the performances that are actually worth talking about. And this one is absolutely worth talking about. Now let us get into the performance itself. What Jaali did vocally was not just competent, it was architecturally smart. She handled the lower, more controlled register in the verse sections with a silkiness that a lot of younger singers simply do not have access to. That lower end was not thin, not hollow, it sat, and then she climbed, naturally not frantically, into the upper range for the more emotionally charged moments of the song. That kind of range transition, when it is smooth, tells you something real about a singer's foundation. It is not something you fake in an audition setting. Her runs were precise. Her melodic choices were not carbon copies of the original recording. She made adjustments. She personalized the phrasing, and that matters because the coaches are not looking for a cover artist. They are looking for a voice that has its own logic, its own instinct. Jaali showed both. Her stage presence was relaxed and confident without tipping into arrogance, which is genuinely a hard balance on that stage. She gave energy to the audience. She moved through the song like someone who has performed it or something like it many times before. The chair turns, 3 of them happened. John Legend did not turn, and that is where the internet went absolutely feral. Let us talk about the public reaction because it is layered in a way that is actually worth organizing. The dominant wave of response was pure enthusiasm. An overwhelming majority of people who watched this performance came away stunned. There was a recurring sentiment that this was the kind of authentic R&B that The Voice rarely sees. People pointed out that it takes real courage to bring a song that lives in such a specific sonic world, not a crossover pop record, not a stadium anthem, and make it land in a competition setting. Many people felt she made the song her own, rather than just reproducing it. The note choices, the riffs, the way she reshaped the melody. Several viewers with clear musical knowledge flagged those specific details as signs of genuine artistry, not just a strong voice. Someone described her lower register as silky and her higher register as soaring, and honestly, that is a fair read. She has range and she knows how to use both ends of it without the performance feeling disconnected. There was also a consistent undercurrent of people who had known about Jaali before this moment, people who clearly follow her closely, and they express something closer to pride than surprise. That is actually a meaningful data point. It means this was not a fluke performance. It means she has a track record. Now here is where it gets more complex. There was a smaller but notable group of viewers who pushed back. A few people flagged shakiness in certain moments. Some noted pitch issues in specific sections. One person felt the timing was rushed, that the vocals were not always locked into the arrangement cleanly. And honestly, those observations are not outrageous. Live vocal performance under pressure is imperfect almost by definition, and if you are listening for technical cracks, you can find them. The question is whether those cracks undermine the overall impression or whether they are just part of the texture of a live performance. My read is the latter. A technically flawless but emotionally flat performance wins fewer chairs than what Jaali delivered. The coaches are not listening for perfection. They are listening for potential, for personality, for a voice that has somewhere to go. The loudest debate in the entire reaction section was about John Legend. The frustration was widespread and it was passionate. People felt he missed something real. Some pointed out that he has only won The Voice once and questioned whether his standards have become a liability rather rather than a strength. Others went further and argued that the one win is evidence that his eye for talent is inconsistent, and some people went in a completely different direction with it, was suggesting that the decision reflected bias, that John consistently overlooks certain types of vocalists. That is a serious claim, and it is one that has surfaced before in conversations around this show. I am not going to treat it as definitive, but I am also not going to dismiss it, because when it comes up repeatedly across different seasons and different contestants, it is worth sitting with rather than brushing aside. What I will say analytically is this: John has a very specific musical framework. He is a classically trained, precision-oriented artist, and sometimes that framework leads him to hear a rough edge in a performance and let it override the bigger picture. Whether that is what happened here or whether he had a legitimate read that the rest of us are missing, that is a genuinely open question. Adam Levine turned, Kelly Clarkson turned, and whoever turned third clearly made a smart call. Adam's team now has a real asset, so here's where I land on this. Was this a winner level audition? Not quite. Not yet. An audition is one song under pressure, and there are layers to this competition that we have not seen from Jaali yet. How does she handle a battle round where someone is actively trying to beat her? How does she perform when the song is not in her wheelhouse? Those are the real tests. But was this an elite blind audition that demonstrated genuine, rare vocal intelligence with a strong personal identity? Absolutely yes. The song choice was bold, the execution was largely strong, the artistry was visible, and in a season full of safe, predictable auditions, Jaali Boyd came in with something that felt different. That matters. John Legend may have his reasons. He may be right in ways we cannot fully see from one performance. But right now, based on what happened on that stage, it is very hard to make the case that he made the correct call. So I want to hear from you. Do you think Jaali has what it takes to go the distance on The Voice? Or was this more of a standout audition that will be harder to sustain under pressure? And on the John Legend question, genuine oversight, high standards, or something else entirely? Drop your take below, and if you want to see more of these deep dive reaction breakdowns, you know what to do.